Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be having a conversation about dating with actress Elisabeth Donaldson. Enjoy the show.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, and do all the things. And thank you for joining us on YouTube.
Elisabeth is... Oh, were you going to say something? No? Okay. Elisabeth is an actress, comedian, photographer, and multimedia creative biatch. She likes to keep things weird and out of the box while creating bold visuals and comedy that empowers all humans, especially femmes.
And if you've joined our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/DKS podcast, Elisabeth is an active member in there, sharing her hilarious TikToks about men and dating. You can learn more about her by visiting ElisabethDonaldsonCreative.com. That's Elisabeth with an S, so ElisabethDonaldsonCreative.com.
And I'm sure if you've actually seen any of her TikToks or if anyone follows her on social media, she has a really bold personality. And I think all of her content is just, no two pieces of content are similar to one another besides her being in it. You know, like she just goes with really bold directions in her content.
Yeah, she does. I love her tone, and like it's very distinct. She has a very distinct voice, which I think is fantastic. And it's really interesting, like watching her TikToks and watching the content that she creates. I love it. It's entertaining. And I think it really kind of meshes well with what we do too. I'm very excited about this conversation with her because never having actually talked to her, you know, we've only emailed back and forth with her and stuff like that. It'll be really interesting to see, just have a conversation and see if the real person is like all this content she creates, because her content is really just dynamic, and it's so high quality too. Like she really puts a lot of effort into it, and I'm surprised. Like I was watching her TikToks and I'm like, she should be bigger. Like she should have 1 million followers.
She should have a tagline like, and this is something I don't know.
This is big, right? I mean, yeah, you know, sometimes you just fall into a tagline. So maybe eventually she'll do that. We'll see. But hopefully you enjoy this great conversation we have with Elisabeth coming right up.
It's been a long time coming.
It has. Sure. Yeah, we've been trying to get it done for a while. And of course, join us next week when we have a brand new episode of one of our normal traditional episodes where we talk about the hidden benefits of dating apps. Of course, you know, unless we change the topic, which who knows?
Highly likely.
Highly likely.
But enjoy.
Yes, enjoy.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You have like the best background and the cardigan to match. Look at you.
I'm ready to go. I'm wearing my initial around my neck. I just had a photo shoot. It actually kind of worked out well because I had a client who was like really chatty. Like he was the sweetest guy, and like he just was like telling me all these like stories about like his childhood dog and like things in his life, and he was so nice. And I was like, okay, like I gotta wrap this up. But luckily all the lighting, it worked out well because the lighting set up and all is well.
Fantastic.
Adam, I was admiring your grooming. You had I was like watching your TikToks.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at how magnificent, like his eyebrows and beard, like your grooming was really on point, and I just want to compliment you.
Well, thank you. The eyebrows is something. It's funny. I get weird. I don't, because I don't understand it, because they're just there, like for me, basically. But I do get people say compliments sometimes, and it's always odd for me.
You just have naturally magnificent eyebrows. Is that
I guess. I mean, I go into a barber and get them trimmed occasionally, or I'll trim them when they get too crazy, because they become an eyebrow after too long. But other than that, yeah, no, they're just this is just how they are. It's just
do you like groom them or like or fluff them or
there's no fluffing, there's no combing, there's nothing. It's just poof, just the caterpillars above my eyes is all it is.
God has given you a gift at the right time.
I feel very lucky. And I should really appreciate it. I think it's been something I've taken for granted.
Yeah, it's eyebrow privilege.
Eyebrow privilege, yes,
Ooh.
exactly.
I mean, it is kind of a thing. My eyebrows are naturally like barely there and blonde. So no matter I've never plucked them, no matter what the trend is, it's just like, well, this is
Right.
what you guys
got.
Yeah, they're falling out. So,
yeah. Well, that's and it also helps that I have no hair, so I think it draws attention to the eyebrows. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
The baldness helps too.
Well, the beard has like a wave to, the beard. I mean, besides like the dyeing that you do, it's really like, it's really, it needs its own Instagram page just dedicated to beard.
Yo, you should do that though.
Honestly.
Although Sarah's probably like, no, don't boost his ego anymore because my ego is already big enough. Like
That is true.
It's too large.
If he would have dyed the beard before this conversation, he would have been like, yes, and I just dyed it this new color and da-da-da. Yeah.
I always do TikTok reveals when I re-dye it, like I always have to do the new reveal where I cover the camera and then all of a sudden it's a new color. So yeah, that'll be in a couple weeks. I have to do that. So yeah,
it's a fun time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Everybody should grow a beard. It's one of those things that it's a lot more fun to play with, I think, when you have a beard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't own a beard.
Right.
I mean, there's one in my Amazon cart, but
just wait for somebody to buy it.
Yeah, it's not cool. It's not as cool as yours. It's like a little piece of fur attached to like a elastic cord.
Not comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for the sake of comedy. It didn't get the best reviews, but
what I love is that you're being very serious. You actually legitimately have a beard in your Amazon.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I'm creating a bro talk character. Like you guys know what I feel like you guys are savvy enough that like there's dudes on Instagram. I call them woke bros, but then some people got confused by that term because when they think of a woke bro, they think of somebody who's like, I'm vegan. And I'm like, but there's, you know what I mean? Like the cis, like divine masculine, he's into crypto.
Yes.
He went on an ayahuasca retreat, and it like, he gives finance tips, but he's got a beard. Like he wears there's a guy that I'm molding him after who's a real life person. I'm not going to say who it is, but like, I mean, not that anybody would know him, but I just don't want to like, be a dick, but you know what I mean? Like, they're like, so the thing is like, you got to do like sales. We got to talk about sales. And they're like wearing their hair is all scraggly. They're like buying some property in Costa Rica, so I'm making one of those guys.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, he's
coming soon on TikTok.
Yeah. Coming soon. The finance bro, he's gonna fucking change your life. Got a retreat. He has a divine masculine retreat coming up in Puerto Rico. You can buy a ticket to this once in a lifetime.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Did you hear about AlphaCon?
What?
It's a real thing. It
was a real thing.
Sorry, I hope it's okay that I'm screaming.
Oh, yes. It was a real thing that happened in Utah, except the best part of it, the whole thing, is that what they use for the logo is actually the lambda, not alpha. Because
what does the lambda stand for? Lambda just means life, right?
Well, no, I think they picked what they thought was the Greek letter because it looks like an A for alpha, and then it actually was lambda because they're that fucking stupid. And it was just a bunch of, misogyny bros all talking about stuff. And apparently there's only one video clip, the whole thing. And it's the guy, the showrunner or whoever organized it, just being on stage, being very kind of sad, like talking about like how depressed he is and how much his life is not going the way he wants it to and everything. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because one of the people I follow like had this clip and he was like, I was going to roast this guy, but like, I just want him to go get therapy.
Damn.
Dude, that's deep.
Yeah.
Alpha bro needs he needs a hug, I guess.
Yeah. His name's something like Boar or Bear or like Tank. Like it's a one word, like manly word, that's what he goes by. And Bull, that's what it is. Bull.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is a combination of a bear and a tank, obviously.
He's just been spending too much time on that carnivore diet, probably.
Probably.
His hormones,
Yes.
He's probably sad because they didn't sell that many tickets, honestly.
Right. and anybody who got in, apparently, who was not like, enough of a bro got escorted out because like someone went in just for irony to record it, and they caught him recording, and they like kicked him out and everything too. Yeah.
Some fucking like skinny dude with a
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah, guy probably with a feminist T-shirt. It's just didn't try to hide it, and they're like, "Feminist? That's terrible. We don't want equality."
we don't- we really want alpha, dude. We want divine masculine. Meat.
What's your favorite character that you've created?
Ooh, I'm digging. I'm really thinking. It's weird. I feel like one of my favorite characters are yet to come.
Okay.
I know that sounds funny, but I have like ones that I'm very excited to create. But I know there's one. Okay, I have two, and they both dance, and I need to do more skits with them. But there's Regina. Wait, I actually have many favorite characters. Okay, so well, now that you pulled my leg, so Regina with dance therapy, and she's like a New Jersey dance teacher, and she teaches you how to dance out your feelings. But like, for whatever reason, the day that I did it, like sometimes I'll have like a half-baked idea in my mind, and then I just kind of let the character happen. Like some things are very well written out, but some things it's like, especially because when it's Instagram content, it's like, I'm not shooting a pilot here. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm making that content to play. And so I'll be like, okay, cool. She's going to wear this. I'm going to wear this wig. And here's the basic concept. And like, I'm just going to let the camera run and see what happens. And so then Regina was born, and she was like, I'm Regina. Like, I used to dance with the Rockettes until my dad had back problems. And so she's like really not the way that you would expect. And I really like Regina. Regina's good. And then there's also like a Jane Fonda dancer lady. And then, oh my God, what's her name? I forget the name of this character, but when my friends, Andy and I created these Southern women on the lawn, because my
In
friends
the lawn chairs, did you guys standing or whatever? Yeah.
Yes. And when we were like drinking Diet Mountain Dew and like talking about our kids being like, get your hand out of your pants. Like I think I'm going to write a whole movie based on those two characters. Cause we had a couple words, and then I was like, oh wow. Like, wouldn't it be great? Andy was like, I just feel like this woman's trying to get away from her husband. And then like all of a sudden, like this idea comes in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, what if they're like, they want to get out of their small town and like get jobs, and they go on a road. It's like Thelma and Louise, but comedy and nobody dies. So I like them a lot. I like them all. I feel like all the characters they have like a sweet spot, because any of them you're kind of, I guess, as you can tell, I have an insane imagination. Like my imagination at all times is just like I don't know if it's making that sound, but but it's like going crazy. So I feel like any character I can like think about them and be like, oh, like what would they do? And like, what's their life like? And what's the story? And then the more you think about them, the more you kind of like fall in love with them. You're like, oh, this is a fun person,
So with your dating profiles, do you ever showcase specific characters in your photos, or what does your Tinder or Bumble profile look like?
Man, it's like, it really changes. Well, cause I like any other human being and female, like I'll go on the dating profiles, and then I'm like, fuck this. And then I delete them, and then I'll go back on. And then it's a different flavor every time. I remember this is worth telling, even though it's in the past, when the pandy first started, I created a fake Bumble profile that was like a picture of me from when I went to Burning Man like a million years ago. And then it was just a joke profile that said that I like had a lot of toilet paper, and that I was like a good survivalist and like all of this stuff. But then I got lonely and I like kept the profile up, and I like matched with some dude. Like some dude matched with me, and then we started talking. And he was like, and he was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He said something, and I was like, yeah, man, like I'm just like really lonely during the pandemic. And then I never heard from him again. I think he was like, this is too real. Like, we're ending this.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this reality. Guys, I have to plug in my laptop really fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's good because we're not live. I like thought that it was fully charged, and then it like hit me with the low battery thing, and I was like, fuck, like this is going to ruin everything. So let me grab my charger. It's right in the other room.
Be right back.
All right.
And then as soon as I plug it in, I'll tell you another hilarious dating profile picture story that you will enjoy.
Sounds good. Just so you know, I don't edit our YouTube videos, so this all goes on YouTube.
I love it.
Sarah edits the actual audio for the podcast itself, but our YouTube videos, I'm like, fuck it. I do the beginning and the end, and everything just stays in.
I'm into it, man. It's like, let's keep life real on
That's
these fucking streets. Like the bitch didn't plug in her laptop. Like people think Elisabeth Donaldson has it all together, but she just comes to the table with a fucking low battery ass laptop. Just like, okay. So my most recent, I went on Hinge. I guess I have a Bumble profile now and it's pretty tame because I was like, okay, I think I want to try to get dates, but I created a Hinge profile and I was very excited about it. And it had it had a picture of me dressed as a werewolf, but like kind of a hot werewolf from Halloween. I don't know if you guys saw this werewolf skit that I did of like when werewolves fall in love. But
no, but I'm gonna go have to check that out afterwards.
Right.
Absolutely.
Dude,
yeah, that sounds fantastic.
It's the best. And I don't even think I don't think that I have anything to do with why this skit is great. It's my friend Andy. She was the dude werewolf. And like, he's kind of like a bro, but he lives with his mom. And like, he says all this dumb, like the first shot, he's like doing this to my boob. Like he's just a big goof. And he's like, anyways, she was brilliant in that. And then my werewolf character is like an influencer and a bartender, but she's a werewolf. So there's a picture of me on my Hinge profile, like I think a whole video of me in the werewolf thing. And then I put some other character and I don't know what it was, but some other weird photo. And then I put like a thirst trap photo. And then everything that I wrote felt like it was nice. Like I had a male friend like cross-check it and he was like, yeah, this like seems pretty legit. And I kid you not, I was on Hinge for a week and a half and I got no likes at all. Not even like no matches, but like I checked, I was like, is it private? Is it off? Is it on silent? Like it like nobody likes me. Like not like a fucking tumbleweeds rolling through. And then I got sad. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll just give it some more time. And then I got really sad and like cried about it and like had my dog hold me. And then I deleted Hinge.
I support I support deleting Hinge. Hinge is very much I'm permanently banned from Hinge as well.
Why?
Because we have a beef with Hinge. That they're a small company. They're not a very big company. They started a podcast called Dating Sucks. And yeah.
Oh yeah. We haven't ever talked about this publicly. I don't think.
I think we have. But yeah, so they started a podcast called Dating Sucks and someone sent it to us and was like, "Did you see this?" And they're talking about it on like the person who started is talking about it on her Instagram. And all of our followers started like commenting saying, there's already a podcast called Dating Kinda Sucks. Why wouldn't you do your research? And, and like, it's like, this is ridiculous. And so like, they got bombarded and like every episode they posted on Instagram, the comments were just like from like our listeners were just like, and we weren't asking anybody, we didn't want them to do this, but all of our,
you weren't trying to start a war.
No, like I did say, maybe it would be nice to change your, like, why would you guys do this when there's like, that's just ridiculous to have similar names like that, especially
also,
since
Dating Sucks is a dumb name.
A dating app though, like a dating app that's promoting that dating doesn't suck. You do a podcast called Dating Sucks.
Yeah, it's weird.
I just thought that was weird too. But,
or call it like Hinge Tales or something.
Really, there's so many good names they could have come up with. Yeah, like just
millions.
So many. Yeah, I don't understand. So yeah, they ended up we kind of got into it because of that, because they really did get inundated, and it was shortly after that my Hinge profile just automatically just got banned, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think that they basically were like, oh, look who that is. Nope, fuck him, and just deleted it.
What?
So now I don't recommend Hinge at all anymore. I'm like, it's a garbage app. Fuck Hinge.
Fuck Hinge. They don't like my werewolf outfit.
Right.
Hinge had me thinking. I mean, I kid you the fuck not. I was like really fucked up about that week on Hinge with and I shouldn't have been, but I was like, I went into this whole thing because I was like, I don't know, I have a picture where I look hot and like, is it the werewolf? Like, am I just too weird? Like, I really went in a spiral. I was like, I think I'm just a weirdo. Do people just not want to date a comedian? Like, it's because I'm fucking old. I'm never gonna get married. And it was like, I think I had to take a day off because of that shit. Like, it was bad.
Do you think you just intimidate men? They saw your profile, were like, nope.
I mean, yeah, I think I do. People have told me that, but it's weird. It's funny. Like when you asked that question, I was like, oh, this is like I think I have so many thoughts and feelings on like the subject of like intimidating men. Cause I feel like it's like rooted in like the patriarchy, you know what I mean? Like of all these things that women aren't supposed to be, or these assumptions. I think that like the thing that I think is the most unfortunate thing or the weird thing is that when it comes to I don't think there's any way to be when you're dating, you know, like, I don't think that it's like, I think everyone has a relationship style and structure that works for them. It's a very personalized thing that like and like that's the beauty of dating is that you have the choice to decide how it's going to be for you. I would say that like, I'm a good partner. Like I'm really sweet, like I'm pretty traditional. But I think because I'm very like strong and bombastic and like go-getting and like I swear a lot. And then I'm like out in these streets, like, you know, making like weird videos, wild videos, unflattering videos, and also videos that are like a little bit like, hey dude, this is how you should talk to women, blah, blah, blah. I think that guys are just like, that's a lot. You know, but then
if they see your social media posts too, I'm sure you have things linked that they see that and go, I saw what I needed to see.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think, and it's like, I don't even necessarily mean this in a bad way. Maybe it's a little bit bad, but like, I think a lot of people just sort of want like a safe, normal relationship. You know what I mean? Like if you watch, I've watched like every dating show in the history. Like I'm obsessed. It's become kind of bad. Like I'm increasingly obsessed with dating shows because I find them to be like a fascinating, what's the word? Like cultural archaeology, or like, I feel like the dating shows of our time will be like the dinosaur bones of like fucking like 3000, you know, like they'll be like, what was the human culture like? And they'll go watch Joe Millionaire and be like, but I'm just so fascinated by dating shows. So I've watched every single one. And it's like, you find like, for instance, the girl who won the only season that's out right now of Joe Millionaire was like both the girls who won, although whatever, we don't have to go into a strong Joe Millionaire tangent. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I've never heard of it, to be honest. I don't even know.
It's two guys and one's a multimillionaire. It's like The Bachelor, but it's two dudes. And one is a multimillionaire and the other one is just like a bro who's like a construction worker. But they're both really nice guys and they form a wonderful friendship. That's actually my favorite part of the show. Like they just become fucking bros. And then like the one who's like the construction worker, like there's two women who were like fighting it out at the end, but one of them just seems kind of like manipulative and shady. And she's always trying to start drama. So I'm like, okay, well, it's good that he went with the other one. But anyways, the one who's a millionaire, he like has a helicopter and a farm and he's like fucking jacked, all this stuff. But he just wants like a nice, normal girl. And then they have all these conversations. And it's weird if you watch these dating shows, because they're always talking about like fucking babies and like they just really push this narrative. And I think it's what a lot of people kind of want of like, well, you know, is she ready to have a family? Like this one guy kicked this girl off the show because she wanted to wait 4 more years to have kids. And he was like, and that's his prerogative. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like, I don't know. It's just like, I
But
can't.
that's the expectation that every woman who gets on that show wants kids within 2 years, and they all want the same things.
Right. And well, and it's also pushing this narrative of like women being a baby maker, which like, yes, theoretically we like are biologically wired that way. And there's nothing wrong with being a mother and like all that shit's fucking like live your life. Like, I don't care, like do your thing. But it's just a weird, I feel like sometimes the motherhood concept can be very limiting for women because honestly, there's a million different ways to be a mother, both biologically, or you can adopt, or you can be a mentor, or. And there's also a million different ways to be a good mother. You can be a good mother who like runs a huge company. You can be a good mother who stays at home. You can be a good mother who's rich. You can be a good mother who's broke. You can be a good mother who's like single. There's just a million different ways that can create a positive future generation, which is really the only singular goal there. Like you just want to have a good human at the end of the day. And like, I don't know, like, I think it's weird. There's these like things that get built in of like, because dating is mating, like to a certain degree, or like, I think biologically or culturally or whatever, that people are like, well, like, I think her lifestyle is not going to work for like, I need somebody to take care of the babies, you know?
Well, that's the issue. The issue I have with that is sometimes is the fact that there are so many men out there that they don't want a woman who's a person. They want someone who's, first of all, a housekeeper. They want someone who's a sex doll. They want someone who's a trophy, and they want someone who's a breeder. Like, and so, and so those are the roles that they are trying to find somebody to fit all of those roles sometimes simultaneously. It doesn't matter if they don't want her to be an individual or an independent human.
Right. And it's weird. It's like, there's even studies that they've done. There was like something that I saw one time about how men traditionally, like very intelligent women, will have a very hard time finding a guy because, but guys don't really care. Like for me, my partner must be highly intelligent. I cannot even imagine what it would be like or envision a world where like my partner was less intelligent than me. Like I can't even imagine it. Unimaginable. But like, there's plenty of guys who straight up like their girlfriend's dumb as rocks. And they're like, well, she's a great cook. Or whatever, you know,
she's a good screw. That's the other one,
right? Or like she's really nice. And like, I don't know, I don't want to like make that communication come across like shitting on women, because I think a little bit you can be like, well, fuck those dumb stupid women, and like I want to be pro woman, and I think that being pro woman is pro all women and all facets, but it's still just an interesting. Anyways, that question about do I intimidate men hit deep is really is really the moral of the story. Is like, I was like, wow, yeah, like, and I mean, I do think I hate, sometimes I struggle with that because I'm like very much one of those like create your own reality type people, and like you can create the life of your dreams. And so I don't want to put blockages there for myself of like, oh, it's hard because guys just don't, like, I'm intimidating. But then sometimes I'm like, well, Elisabeth, like you're a whole lot of things, you know?
You know, I would say that it's funny going as a man on dating apps. So many women's profiles are so utterly boring that it's if I have to see another color run, or it's essentially the equivalent of men holding up fish, or gym selfies. And it's just like, I'm like, nothing in here is intriguing me or making me interested in the person. So seeing a profile of someone dressed as a fucking werewolf would like, that would be a plus. Like, I'd be like, oh, this person is someone I want. Like, even if I don't find, there might not be a romantic attraction even, but I'm like, I want to talk to this person. Like, this is someone that I need to talk to because they seem interesting and intriguing and someone I want to know more about. So I feel like you're on the right path in that sense, to be out there and a little crazy, because I think that is interesting. And boring. Normal is so boring. Like, being weird is like, that's what I know what I want.
It's a good time. You actually bring up a good point. Cause like I don't date often, but when I do date, like when I think of my like roster, I'm like, yeah, Elisabeth, like you just, like good. Like I've dated some really interesting men, you know what I mean? Like, and like I have a date next week with a guy who's a professional sword fighter, like a professional, like medieval, what do they call it? I don't like that. He wears a fucking helmet.
Jouster?
Fence?
No,
Fencing?
no, yeah, fencing.
It's medieval MMA. So it's like
I don't
literally
know.
they have swords. Like these motherfuckers are straight up like from medieval times. Like they're ready. This guy runs like 10 miles. He has a really deep voice. His voice is so deep. He's like, and he wears a metal helmet and like a full body armor. And yeah, and he's like goes all over the way and he teaches people how to do it, and he opened a studio, and I'm gonna learn how to fucking cha-cha-cha, like yeah. That's our date.
Cha-cha-cha.
I'm gonna be like the queen of Sherwood Forest or whatever by the time the date's over. So that's what.
And then you can add medieval sword fighting to your acting resume too, right?
Right?
It's a skill.
Fucking skill. I wonder if I went on a date with anybody. And then I've gone on dates with like two guys who were in special forces, not just one, but two. Like I may have dated the guy who killed Osama bin Laden. We don't know, but like it could have happened. Like both of them were, special forces. One of them was an Aqua special forces guy. So he could hold his breath. On our first date, we had a breath holding competition. And that was, I really fell for him. Like I was really like, it's funny because I think, I don't know how people behave in dating. I don't know what works or what doesn't, but I think that like what I am attracted to is probably really different than like what, like sometimes people will send me, they'll send me an emoji or like they're trying to flirt and I'm like, oh, whatever, this is some basic stuff. Like I'm not feeling this. But then like this guy and I like stared at each other. We were like, okay, great. We're going to have a breath holding competition. And we both just stared at each other in this restaurant and held our breath for like 3 minutes. And I was like ready to bone him like right then. Like I was like, let's fucking go.
I mean, it's good to know that a man can hold his breath for a while because that's usually pretty helpful in the bedroom.
Yeah. That's true.
This is a restaurant in Nashville that you were just holding your breath.
Yeah. Just like, I'm like wild because I don't get out very much. So like, and then when I'm on a date, I'm like wildly excited. Like, I'm just like it's a combination of like nerves, anxiety, like just excited to be out in the world. So yeah, I was very excited. And it was like, we had like people like to our right and people to our left. And then I think our waitress came by like while we were like holding the competition and we were like, and then she was like,
second.
Yeah. I think we were like, wait. And then I think at one point, like we didn't talk for a little bit and things were on the rocks. And then we hung out again. And then we had a competition again. It was like to, rekindle the fire of like just both being weird. It's good to be goofy with people. I don't know. I don't know what people do on dates. I like to have a breath holding competition.
You like to have fun.
Yeah. Fun. It has to be fun. It has to be so much fun. Like if you're not just like laughing, I don't know, then what are you doing?
Do you think from being on dating apps and just dating around that people recognize you from some of the commercials and things that you've been in?
Yeah. Like, and I think that's, or sometimes it's like vice versa. Like you'll have someone who recognize you, or you'll have someone who they recognize you, but they don't tell you until later. And that's weird, but like, that they know, or they'll go on my Instagram and see things, or sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I'm not like certain of the amount. Like this sounds funny, but like and this has nothing to do with dating, but it's sort of like, it's related. I was at an event recently and there was a photographer and I got his name and reached out to him and was like, hey, can I get some photos from this event? Blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really know who this guy was. And I messaged him from my photography account, and he was like, oh, hey, I'm a big fan. I've seen a lot of your videos and like, blah, blah, blah. I think you're so talented in this and that, which is awesome. Like, so nice. But it was weird because I was like, it was like a moment for me where I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I guess people see my shit, you know, because you just don't. I think that everyone in their own universe, it's like everyone always has whatever level of imposter syndrome or whatever that they have. So you're just sitting there being like, I don't know. Like, I think I always have this thing where I'm not Beyonce. I'm like, I'm not Beyonce. So fucking nobody knows me. But yeah, I think so. And that can be weird. Or I've had a guy before, like, I've had a couple guys who were like, actually, like, I like follow your stuff. And like, I think you're like, they get kind of like starry-eyed, which is a weird vibe.
Do they ask you out too, or is that?
Yeah, it's like we'll match and like we're talking, and then like later on down the line they kind of lose their cool and they're like I actually like have been seeing your stuff and la la la, and I'm a huge fan. And it can be, I mean, not like, obviously you want fans and obviously you want people to like your work, but you don't. And obviously it's like flattering, like you want the person who you're attracted to and dating to like your work, but when they're acting like a fan, that's like weird.
There's that fanboy element of it, that also potential stalker. Then it's that parasocial relationship where they don't really, a lot of times they don't know you, they know what you present, and so that's who they're attracted to, and they don't actually. Some of them will get to know you, and that's fine. But then sometimes all they do is they put you like on this pedestal who they think you are.
Yes.
And because I've had that happen, and then they don't know how to adapt to you being a human being with faults and, you know, and down days and days where you're not on and things like that.
Yeah. That's what's weird. Well, that's what's like a really weird thing in general about being somebody who's like somewhat in the public eye, is that I feel, and I can't even imagine what it's like for like people like celebrities, you know what I mean? But people don't, I try to be as transparent and authentic as I can be, to sort of like, not even necessarily for other people, but for me online. I'm just like, yo, like if you like, I want you to see my messy house so that like, if you ever meet me, you know, but it's still, I don't know. Like, I feel like people don't understand like that you're just not Superwoman. You can't do everything all the time. You can't answer every message. You can't do everything. You're not a millionaire. I have people sometimes who like I've definitely had people reach out to me wanting to invest in things or do things or connect them to things or like donate to stuff. And I'm like, yo, like I think you think I'm rolling with a lot more money than I'm rolling with, but cool, I'm flattered. But like, yo, like I'm not your angel investor.
They think you got that moon pie money is what it is.
Right?
Right. Well, and I think also people don't understand. I mean, back in the day when I was like early in my acting career, before the internet, that sounds so funny, but it's true. You used to be able to do a national commercial and you would make fucking bank. Like I had a Bausch and Lomb commercial that I did. It's one of the first national commercials that I ever booked. And I made, I think in the course of about 3 years, I made $200,000, which I wish, I don't know. I was like such an idiot. I think I spent it on bubblegum and magazines, like just some bullshit, and like parking tickets because I lived in LA. $200,000. But nowadays, like you could do a straight up ad for like Target or Gap or some major corporation and get paid $1,000. Yeah.
That's awful. Wow.
Yeah. They buy
you would
you
use
out.
that everywhere though. That wouldn't just be for TV. That would also be for print and for digital ads and everything, and probably just only
That's crazy.
$1,000.
Yeah, I did. Well, it's not usually, I mean, my agent is pretty good. Like he doesn't usually take on contract. Like he'll fight for us if there's something that's just super shady. But then sometimes it's like, I mean, for me, I'm a workhorse. So it's like sometimes you're stuck between a rock and a hard place where making $1,000 for doing a single day of work is like, that's nice. And also like as a person who works, you're not going to be like, no, I don't want work and I don't want money. Like usually when you're a full-time freelancer, and like you make your money from, you know, for me, it's a combination of like photography, social media work, and acting jobs. Like that's my job. So I have to show up for work. You know, it's kind of like, you know, in any respective job, you couldn't be like, nah, like if your boss was like, we need you to do this. And you're like, I don't know, I'm just not going to show up this week. So it's like, you like have to take the gigs, but then sometimes they're shitty, or sometimes my agent will be like, he's like, this rate sucks. I tried to negotiate for more, blah, blah, blah. But like, this is the best I could get. Like I did a commercial recently that was for social media, print, and a commercial and YouTube. I think the whole total amount was $3,000 for all of it. And it was for like a major like beer company or something. And I just made fucking pennies. But back in the day, so people see you, they're like, oh, you must have made so much money. I'm like, no, I made a day rate.
I mean, that's how, like with stand-up comedy too, the same type of thing. Like that, especially if the more shitty comedians that'll take the lowest things means that everybody starts paying lower because they think they can get away with it.
Totally.
And it's just that, you know, you can have the great places that'll pay you great for a weekend of headlining, and then you'll have the place that'll be like, oh, you get $100 a show, and you know, and a really shitty condo to stay in or something. You know, it's just it's very similar.
And it's tricky because it's like, as a creative, you kind of have to navigate and make your decisions. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, I want to do this business. And nowadays with social media, you have all these content creators. Think of the immense amount of talent, like the people who are on the level of micro influencers like myself, who are basically creating free entertainment for the world, where Instagram's making money off of all of this free entertainment. And like, literally, like, we're making nothing. I don't get paid. I know some people get paid for reels. I don't. That feature hasn't been available for me. And like, I'm not going to bitch about it because I'm happy to have a free platform to share my talent. And it provides me with a lot of opportunities, and I've been able to build a business around it and get cast in things and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But man, it's crazy. Like, it's just, there's so much free talent. There's so many people doing, like, providing immense services for free. So it's interesting. But yeah, I ain't rich. I'm still looking for a sugar daddy. So hit me up at Elisabeth.Donaldson.
There we go.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. You want to slide into my DMs, just don't fucking call me hot.
Right. Yeah. Let's start off. You're actually that's funny. You're the TikTok that I duetted, your gentleman's the gentleman's guide thing that you did about how what to say other than you're hot was fantastic. And
Thank
like,
you.
I'll tell you, I'll watch some of your content, and I'm like, how does this not have 1 million views? Like, I was saying that to Sarah, like this should be like huge. How is this not the production value? Your production value alone should should just elevate it, because like it's some people, like I watch their videos, I'm like, this is, I can't it's incomprehensible, but you just, everything you did, like the speeding up of the content, it was fantastic. And
Thank you so much.
So you should be on TikTok. You should be bigger. Like I think that that you just need to, something's going to blow up there soon, and I think it has to.
I think so. I mean, listen, hey, I entered Troll Town, so I feel like that's a good, because
that's when you start. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's, you know, Sarah. I mean, because I've seen the comments that you get, and also you're very overt, like that, you know, about what you're talking about. Those freaking man trolls, I call it dick talk. Like, when you find yourself on fucking TikTok, it's like a whole new world. It is,
and then you can't get out of it though. Then you're like, crap.
Because the algorithm keeps feeding it. I had someone comment on the video, Adam, that you mentioned, and then I responded, just this spur of the moment. I was like on a set, and so I made this funny video of like, why are you calling me hot? Blah. And I just so happened to be making a tank top, and decided that it would be funny if I shot the camera over my head and then got down to the ground on my knees, like, ah! And like, I wasn't, see, the TikTok clientele is like, you're showing off your tits and you're on your knees. Like, that's all they see. But the comedian in me is like, dude, this is comedy. I'm expressing rage. Like, I'm expressing the despair of being on my knees. Like, this is not sexual. But so this fucking video has Like it's getting into the realm of thousands of comments. It's now gotten to where there's like comment wars, like all day today. A guy and a girl have just been like all day. Like I keep going. I'm like, why is there 100 comments? And it's just these two people just warring with each other.
That happens all the time in my comments where because I take the shittiest comment and I pin it to the top, and I usually reply to them and hashtag pin of shame. So then it's pinned to the top, and then everybody starts replying to them, and so then people will go like I have comment threads that are 500 comments on like under one comment, and it's just these two people going back and forth, and I can't even keep track. I stopped reading it. But was your video, you're talking about the one where the guy spelled you're hot, but he spelled your Y-O-U-R?
Yes.
Okay, I saw that. Yeah, that was fucking funny.
And then everybody, like it's just dick talk. It's like everybody on. First of all, there's all these guys that are just like, you're hot. You're hot. And I'm like, okay, dude, like fucking cool. And then there's guys like that tell you that they got a boner, except they say you made something. Whoop, they say you made something in my no area move. I guess because they've learned how to work around the language barriers. They're like, something just, I'm like, I don't need to know about your fucking boner, dude. Like this isn't, and it's weird. It's like the nature of like sort of sexual harassment and misogyny. As a woman, it's like, it's so weird how introverting it is as a woman. Cause here you are just being like free and like not even trying to be sexy. Like I wasn't even, it was just like in my universe, like the opposite of sexy. And then everybody's like, you just want to show off your tits. You know what you're doing. You just want to show off your tits and then tell men that they suck. What kind of world do we live in? And you're like, what? Where am I? You know, it's like fucking, it's like Dorothy when she wakes up, but she's like not in the Wizard of Oz. Dude, that would be a great skit, actually.
And she's on TikTok.
Yeah, she's on fucking TikTok. She's like, we're not in Kansas anymore. Dude, I think I need to make that. Like,
you should. You really should.
Yeah. She's just like, and all these dudes are like, and then she has her crew and they help her through, and then they go to see the wizard, and the wizard's like Mark Zuckerberg, or like, I don't know, like it wouldn't be for TikTok, but that would
be fantastic. I feel like that definitely needs to be a thing.
Right?
Yeah.
It'd be a really good short film.
The Lollipop Guild would be like the Friend Zone group or something like that. Yeah.
TikTok is like, it's a crazy place. I have friends who were on, like, I have a friend who's a plus size influencer, and she had something that went viral on Reddit and Twitter and TikTok. And she had like hundreds of people like messaging her, emailing her agent and saying like, I can't wait till you're dead. Like, it's crazy. It's like, TikTok is wild, man.
The audacity of some of these people is insane, and it really is. I get called a simp and a pick me and a white knight pretty much constantly, just because whatever I post. But I block a lot of people. My block list probably has 1,000 names on it, because as soon as someone starts being like disingenuous, I'm like, okay, you're blocked. Like I'm not gonna give you any more emotional space. I'm not gonna engage you anymore. You're just blocked. You don't get access to this anymore. And I think that's the only way that I can handle it, because otherwise I will start breaking all of their community guidelines when I reply to these people, and that's what I have to be careful about.
It can, yeah, I do know what you mean. It can get a little, and sometimes also I think to myself, like, I'm like, Elisabeth, do you want to spend your creative energy in this space? Like, is this the war you want to fight? Like you have a script to write, you've got some fucking content to make. Like, do you really want to go down this path, or like, should you just let this go? And I think for me, having this video go kind of viral was like, it was my first big lesson in like, okay, dude, like, just like, let it happen. Like, welcome to the internet. I did have a couple people be like comment, welcome to the internet. And even though I was like, fuck you, man, in the back of my mind, I was like, yes, he's got a point there. Like,
yeah. TikTok is one of those where you could spend a rabbit hole amount of time just responding, getting people to agree with you, but they're not going to agree with you. So why even bother? Move on to the next piece of content you can make.
Exactly. Well, and TikTok's weird because it rewards you. It's almost like their algorithm is sort of like, when you respond, the algorithm rewards you. And then so it creates this weird dynamic of like, simultaneously you're growing and getting engagement and your videos are getting views, but it's like not you know, for the reasons that you want them to. So I was
Right.
like, okay, Elizabeth, disengage. like, like, let's go over here now.
What I was going to ask you about what would you say to someone who's new, who's trying to think about getting into acting, like a woman, as far as the world of men with acting? Like, what advice would you give to maybe a young woman who wanted to get into acting, and the things you do as far as with relation to how men act? Like, as far, do you know what I mean? Like, as far as being careful, or what should they watch out for? What advice would you
Sure.
give?
How men act, like, well,
In
I guess
general.
I'm
Just
just
in
gonna
general,
cover the
like,
whole thing. 'Cause
yeah.
actually, yeah, I think there's a couple things. First of all, there's like the business side of it, and there's ways that men can act, but there's also like predatory things that can happen, and not necessarily from people who were actually in the business, but from people who were adjacent and trying to take advantage. So I think you have to really watch yourself for like the opportunities that come your way. And I would recommend that anyone build a really strong community, like get into a class or find friends that you trust to create content. Like if you can't afford a class, then like start making skits with your friends. And then you're working with people who trust you. But when like weird, creepy people on the internet will slide into your DMs to provide you with opportunities. And I think you have to be very wary of those situations. Cause I know what a red flag is, but I still get stuff and I still check. Like I had some guy who lived in Canada who wanted me to be on his celebrity show. And I was like, okay, dude, like just send me an email. Like, and then he sent me the same message that he DM'd me. And then these like weird clips. And I was like, so what's your pitch? Like, I don't really understand what this is. Like, are you going to come to me? And he's like, yeah, I can fly out and we'll make you a show. And I'm like, this is fucking sounds like sex trafficking. Like I'm the fuck out. Like, so I think like you really should be careful of, this is the most simple way to say it is if it is legitimate, it feels legitimate. And if it feels shady, then it is shady. And even if it feels shady and it's not actually shady, it's like disorganized to the level that you don't want to be involved anyways. So anything that is worth your time, the people are going to be very forthright. They're not going to have some fucking private profile. You're going to be able to find their work. It's going to be very public. It's going to be very on the up and up. Anyone who's professional is not going to like send you a message that feels confusing and encrypted, you know? And if someone's asking you for like weird favors, like essentially if somebody wants you to be in a project, right? Like let's say you have an Instagram profile, you want to be in movies and somebody DMs you, it's fine for people to DM you. There's like a lot of business transactions that do happen. They do start on Instagram and then they move to other places. But anyone would be like, hey, I have this project. Here's the rate, here's the company, blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's going to be worded in such a way that's like to make you comfortable. So if anybody's just doing weird stuff or like, oh, you can't bring your friend or asking strange favors, it's just like, if it smells like a fish, it is a fucking fish. So there's that aspect of it. I think it's also important for people to know and for women to know that they can have, well, there's a couple things. You can have full autonomy over your body, yourself, the lines, the scene, how things are navigated. It's totally appropriate to like stop things or to request certain things from your director at any point in time. And now this is pretty much like industry standard, like on a set, like on any professional set, it's pretty much the standard that people need to ask your consent before they can touch you, adjust, because there's different things. Like for instance, when you're on a set, as a woman, you have to get mic'd up, right? Like any movie, they're going to attach a microphone to you. And it always is going to go pretty much like I had a movie that I did one time where I was in the scene, I was wearing a sports bra. And the guy, like the sound guy was very polite. It wasn't shady, but he literally was like, had his hand around my nipple for like 20 minutes because he had to, like, there wasn't any way. We had to find the place where the mic could go, where it would pick up the sound and it wouldn't be rubbing against the fabric and we would get like clean sound. So there's there's a lot of reasons in the entertainment industry that people are going to have to touch you, move you, direct your body. And so anyways, it's fully appropriate for them to, and they should be asking consent. The way that I try to make that easier for everyone, I try to take responsibility as an actress and being very upfront about things. Like when a sound guy's miking me, I'm usually like, if he seems nervous, because sometimes these poor guys, if they're newer and they like feel fucking bad because they're like having a tape between your cleavage and it's awkward for them and they want to be polite. I'm like, hey dude, like I've been doing this for a long time. Like you're fine. I know you're doing your job. And then they're kind of like, oh, you know what I mean? Or if I have like a love scene or a scene with somebody, or even a makeup artist, like I'll just sort of arrive on set and take responsibility and be like, hey, like, I know, like I'll have an awareness. I'm like, okay, in this scene, this is what I'm wearing and this is what's happening. The makeup artist is probably going to have to adjust this several times. So I'll just look at them and be like, hey, I know that we're going to have to do A, B, and C. I want you to feel comfortable doing whatever you have to do. I trust you. We're good. So I guess it's like, in a set environment, if you come into the space willing to like take responsibility and make the initiative about having those difficult conversations, then like it's comfortable. It doesn't make it awkward. And then it just kind of sets the bar. And then everybody can proceed in an environment where they're like, like, you know, they're like, great, like that conversation's over and like, la, la, la. And it makes it really fun for everyone. So, and then in terms of like, I guess being like, there's the sort of like being a public figure part of it. Man, there's like so many things I could talk about in terms of like being a woman. I mean, there's being a public figure and getting weird attention from men. And I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned, and this is about like men or any sort of public perception of you, is that you have to just be very rooted in your own purpose and be very rooted to have your own very strong community built up around you of like your friends. Like I have friends who I go, when I'm getting trolled or I'm like second guessing myself, I can just like go to the group text and be like, guys, like I'm feeling fucked up about this. Did I fuck up? Am I presenting this wrong? And they can kind of be like, no, dude, like those guys are assholes. And then I can be grounded and like move forward. But you just kind of have to learn. I mean, I've always looked at it as like, when you want to be a public person, there is a certain cost of entry. And it doesn't mean that you should sacrifice yourself or feel unsafe or sacrifice your own personal integrity, but like any job has parts of it that fucking suck. And acting is no different. And so it's kind of like, there's things that you can control, but there's things that you can't. But what you can control is like working on yourself, having your own personal integrity and taking responsibility for situations. And so I just try to always look at those things and like navigate accordingly. And then when things come along, it becomes a teaching moment, either for myself or others. Like in a way, before I started getting heavily bombarded with like weird male attention, I was actually pretty naive to the fact that went on. Like I used to even like I was the girl who used to be like, I don't really call myself a feminist. Like I was like literally that bitch. Like, and then I started experiencing a lot of harassment on the internet. And then I started asking, you know, like my audience on the internet and asking my community and asking other women and being like, oh shit, this happens to a lot of people. So I, in a way, utilized all this negative attention to bring attention to something. And like, I think it empowers other women and it like creates a space where it's like, oh shit, this is happening and let's talk about it, you know? And then the final thing that I'll say about being a woman in the entertainment business is that I think so many people fixate because it is such a looks centric industry. And there is a lot of like beauty standard that happens. Movie stars are usually like, they hit a certain attractiveness level or whatever. And I think that a lot of people sometimes internalize that and they think to themselves like, well, I could never make it, or this isn't for me. Or they have this like narrative that's running in their head that they should be more beautiful, or they should be younger, or they should be this, or they should be that, or if they were this, that, and the other thing. And I just think that no matter who you are, if you have a talent and you have a skill, you can find a spot for yourself in the industry, and you can become like a huge star if you confront what your casting is. You're like, okay, cool. Like me, like I'm older now. And so I kind of had to be like, okay, well, now that I'm older, I don't want to be chasing these young roles anymore. Like, because that's going to give me a complex and blah, blah, blah. So like, what roles are good for me? Cool. What if I was like the cougar? What if I was the principal? What if I was somebody's aunt? What if I was like the executive at a company, this, that, and the other thing? And so I just try to, for myself, lean into the things that I can do and don't worry about. I just think that, like, for whatever dumb reason, people equate that success in the entertainment industry equals classic beauty standards and youth. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, that ain't it. Like, you can write something for yourself. You can write a script for yourself. You can create care. I mean, look at like Melissa McCarthy, and all of these people who are coming out now who really break the mold of both youth and traditional beauty and et cetera. And at the end of the day, it's like, what talent do you bring to the table? And so, and also, if you're like filled up with filler, and I mean, I'm sure there's some shows that's the aesthetic, but if you're radically altered. I remember one time I had a makeup artist, and we were talking about like microblading, where you get your eyebrows tattooed in. And she was like, like sometimes actresses get that done and then it's permanently there and you can't fuck with it. Like, then you can't be the homeless person. Then you can't be the drug addict. Then you can't be this, that, and the other thing. So I think that this applies to being a woman or a man or any artist. If you just are like fucking rooted in your own authenticity and just go hard and like believe in yourself and love yourself enough and believe in your talent enough to like do the work and the personal work that it takes to make it happen, you're going to have success. And maybe that success is huge and maybe it's more boutique, but like, like no matter who the fuck you are, there's a place for you, I think.
Damn, you just dropped a lot of knowledge on us right there.
I went hard.
No, that was great. That was fantastic. Yeah. That was, I think it's very solid and very helpful. And yeah, and I think that's fantastic. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is it time for Spitfire?
I think it is. Like, yeah, I feel like we could sit here and talk for hours, honestly.
I know.
This is so, like, this has been fascinating. You're so entertaining and interesting, and yeah, I really feel like we could keep talking. Before we always have a little Spitfire round, and that's
Okay.
so we end on that. But before we do that, where do you want people to find you? Obviously, you can go to your website, which is ElisabethDonaldsonCreative.com.
Yeah. And Elizabeth with an S.
With the S,
not a
yes.
C.
Yes.
And Donaldson, like Donald Duck's son.
Right.
Because people in Nashville think it's like Donaldson Pike,
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know what that is. So, and what's your favorite, like, or what out of all your social media, where do you really want people to go right now to follow you?
Instagram,
which is Elisabeth.Donaldson, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yes, we have a Spitfire round. We're going to ask you 5 questions, and you're just going to answer them as quickly as you can.
Okay.
And do you want to alternate with you, sir? Is that what we're going to do this?
No, you go for it. You can ask them all.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. So number 1, fuck, marry, kill: Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Regina King.
Marry Tina Fey.
Okay.
Fuck no.
I know it's hard, right?
I don't want to kill Amy Poehler, but I do want to fuck Regina King. That's my answer.
All right, so marry Tina Fey, kill Amy Poehler, fuck Regina King. All right, there we go.
Yeah, but like Amy Poehler, just like sacrificially, like, love you, Amy. You're a bad bitch.
She'd understand. Number 2.
I'd make it a comedy skit.
If you were a candy bar, what flavor would you be?
Fucking Snickers, man.
Oh yeah, it's the nougat. Is that what it is?
It's the fucking caramel. Like it's the saltiness, like the whole vibe, also that it's like Snickers satisfies, like the packaging, the branding, like just put my name on that, like Elizabeth
satisfies.
What? Yeah. What if we get a Snickers bar? Elizabeth satisfies. I mean, like, bitch, I will.
All right. Number 3. What was the last book that you read?
Oh my God. What was the last book that I read? Okay, I'm reading a book right now. Oh, I just finished it. It's called We Should All Be Millionaires.
Okay.
And it's I forget the name of the author, but look it up. I'm not gonna waste our time, but We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers. And it's I fucking recommend it highly. It's about how we should all be millionaires.
Right.
But her mission in life is to like help people who are disenfranchised and marginalized, like be bad bitches and like make a ton of money. So it's like really, it's great. I love it. Recommend.
All right. Number 4, if you could consensually bang any person, real or fictional, who would it be?
It's like, as much as I want to marry Elon Musk, I feel like sex would be awkward with him. So
Yeah, sex with him would be terrible, I think.
yeah, like I just more want to like, I just want to be like a sister wife in the Elon Musk like home. Who the fuck do I want to bang?
Fictional too, so we can go, you know.
Sarah, make sure you put music over this part.
Okay.
How about a celebrity crush that you had when you were a kid that you would consensually bang?
Disney character, like a Disney character? I don't know.
Yeah, smash or pass, Disney character.
Yeah.
Like Jake Gyllenhaal? Jake Gyllenhaal's pretty fucking hot. Jake Gyllenhaal. Let's go for Jake Gyllenhaal. I'll take 100 for Jake Gyllenhaal.
All right, so this next
weird. I actually am not usually like, I don't get hot over celebs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like it's just never been my vibe, you know?
Right.
I get hot over like dumb fuck boys.
People
Like,
can hold their breath for lots of time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was sweating that guy, man.
All right. And now finally, this one is going to be top of your head. You got to answer the first word that comes to mind. All right. You ready?
Okay.
Finish this sentence. Men are.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Did you just say men are right?
What?
I know it wasn't the first word that popped in your head, by the way, just from the shouting. Yeah. Men are all right. Is that what we're gonna go with? Is that always there? I think we can.
Great.
Great.
The men in my life who are good. Like, I actually love men. I think they're fucking awesome. I love men. I do. I actually really love men.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. There's our Spitfire. That was an entertaining.
Yeah,
one.
they're hot. Men are hot. Men are, you know.
Men are men.
Something. Yeah.
Men are something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and Elisabeth Donaldson, thank you so much for joining us for this this conversation. We really appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fucks on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any bucks. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.